Happy October, everyone, and happy Connected Educators Month. This is a webinar for creating multimedia journals using VoiceThread. I'm your presenter, Kelly Stair. I'm the author of VoiceThread for Digital Education, which is available when you click this link. And I also have a website, angrybunnypublishing.com. If you're interested in more of these free webinars, you can go to this site, go to events, and it will show you the webinars that you can register for. Okay. My email address is here also if you'd like to contact me. Let's go ahead and get started. So, creating journals and multimedia journals specifically. There are a lot of benefits for students journaling. As Ron Klug has put it, journals are a place to record daily happenings, but also they are so much more than that. Some of the things that he describes are journals as a tool for self-discovery, an aid to concentration, a mirror for the soul, I love that one, a place to generate and capture ideas, a safety valve for emotions, a training ground for the writer, and a good friend and confidant. Journals also help you reflect, think critically, and evaluate, as well as express ideas. There are a lot of purposes for journals. I focused on 5, just to go into a little bit deeper. It's important to know what the purpose of your journal is, otherwise it becomes just this mismatch of all kinds of crazy stuff. And you really should, when you have students journal, you should have them journal with a purpose. So here are 5 different purposes. There are more, but here are 5 purposes for journaling. You can do personal journals that are there to record and reflect upon daily activities or ideas or emotions. You can do content or thematic journals, and these are a little bit more academic, to experience new ideas and then to reflect on those ideas. Writing journals are ways that students can respond to daily writing prompts, so they get practice writing and developing writer's craft. Inquiry journals encourage students to explore and write, and so inquiry journals, the prompts might actually come from the students themselves, and then they reflect on those prompts. So here's something interesting that I found online, and I'm going to reflect on it. And then finally, learning journals. Learning journals are probably the most formulaic. They would have all of the learning activities for a particular class, and then they would host the reflections and connections that students have about their own learning. So they're very metacognitive in that respect. Okay, this is really important that you make sure that your assessment of journals matches their purpose. Okay, if you are assessing journals that are learning journals and you say, well, you weren't very creative in this journal, well, you're not assessing it for the purpose that you articulated to begin with. So it's important to know right off the bat what the purpose of the journal is, make sure that students know what the purpose of the journal is, and make sure that your assessment matches that purpose. In addition, you need to make sure that the grades that students get for those journals represent the time spent on those journals. If you spend half an hour every day journaling and that journal grade only accounts for 5% of their overall grade, you've got a problem. You're not representing time spent with the grading system. So just be cognizant of that also. All right, we're going to get right into the VoiceThread journal demo. So if you are there, you can click on this link. You can activate this link from your web browser also, or from the PowerPoint if you are watching the video of this. And this is a journal for identity. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this link, and it's going to bring up my VoiceThread that I created for this as an example. Now, when you bring up this link, this is what it'll show you. You've got the slide here, and you can see this is slide 1 of 5. You've got my directions in the first set of comments, and I'll read those in just a second. And then you've got this box down here that says sign in or register. If you click this box, that will allow you to either sign into your VoiceThread account or register for your own free VoiceThread account. Oops, I'm going to pause this so it doesn't keep going. Once you sign in or register, then your icon, you'll be able to upload a picture, and then your comments will follow that icon. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and sign in to my account. Oops. So I go ahead and sign in. If I don't have an account yet, I register. You can register right here. Okay, and now it will bring up my icon. Okay, so what I want to do when I look for this VoiceThread is I will go to the very first one, and it'll pop up automatically. You saw it pop up when I did the demo. So here's what my directions say. In the picture, there are 11 categories that define a person's identity. Think about which one is most influential in who a person truly is, and argue your opinion in the comments. For example, I think blank most strongly influences identity because I always make sure that I scaffold these journal entries, especially the first ones, so that students know how they're supposed to respond. I might even give an example one with one of my identities. And then it says, be sure to give at least one example to support your opinion. You can type, speak, or webcam your comments. Well, I want to give a set of comments, and so I'm going to use this icon, and I'm going to comment. Sorry. One more time. I'm going to use this icon and I'm going to comment. And so I'm going to say, I think what we create most influences who we are, because the act of creation is very personal. We can't create without showing our identity. Otherwise, it's all a fake. Think about people who try to be something they are not. They can't create anything original because they don't know who they are. Right? And then I save. I'm sure I've got a typing error in there somewhere. And then I move on to the next one. Okay? In the second one, I have the same picture, but you can see this is number 2. But I have different tasks for students to do in their journal. For this journal, it says this time choose a category that defines a person's identity, reflect and comment about how it affects you personally. Example, my beliefs affect my identity because. And then be sure to include at least one example in your comments. So this time I'm going to record a comment. Okay, I click the microphone, and then I'm going to click allow. And now I'm recording. And so I would say, I think that one thing that affects people's identity, and mine in particular, is my values. Okay? And I chose values because the things that you value influence how you look at the world and how you see things that happen to you or happen out in the world. And it really affects how you make choices. And so that's the biggest influence of identity for me, is my values. Okay, now we're going to process, and it's going to say it back to me, so you'll hear me. And you can see how my doodle showed up on the... I like it. I'm going to save it. So I click save, and then there's mine. Sorry, we were talking over the top of each other there. Okay, then I go on to the next one. Okay, now as you have students doing these journals, you can set them all up and they're supposed to do one a day, or you can set them all up and they go through them through your unit, and they can do one a day, or they can do a bunch of them at the same time. It's totally up to them. It's totally up to you how you want to organize your journals. This one is one that I created. I took this quote that I found, I took this image that I found, and I put them together into a Word document. Then I saved that document and uploaded it to my VoiceThread. So for this one, I say, read this quote and reflect. In what ways do you agree or disagree? How does the message make you feel about your life and its meaning? Give as many details as possible, even if your ideas meander. Work through the thought process. And so then students would read this quote. It says, "Unlike a drop of water, which loses its identity when it joins, when it joins the ocean, man does not lose his being in society in which he lives. Man's life is independent. He is born not for the development of society alone, but for the development of himself, of his self." Okay, and then I want to make my connection. I'm not actually going to make one for this one. I'm just going to move on. But the idea is that you take this quote and you reflect on it and you break it down and deconstruct it a little bit and then make it make sense for you. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that and go on to the next one. This is the last one, and I won't play the entire video, but it is on the VoiceThread if you want to watch it. There's a video that pops up as soon as you get done reading the comments. So this is the last of our journals. The task says, watch this video about identity and pull out the key points that are most relevant to you and your journey of identity. What was interesting? What did you agree or disagree with? Or what made you stop and think? Give as much details as you can, even if your thoughts meander. Explore the ideas. And then the video will play. And I'm going to stop that video because you can watch it on your own. And the same thing, so students will type, record, or webcam their comments. The last slide, I just have a works cited page so that you can find all that information. And then here's the last page where you can copy the link or email it or embed it in a website. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. That was the demo for VoiceThread. Here are some things to think about as you are creating your own VoiceThreads for journals. Okay, first off, media choices matter. They matter a lot. Have great images. If you have text, make sure that you reorganize that text so that it makes the best possible impact. As you can see on VoiceThreads, the slides are just like PowerPoint slides, and so sometimes it's easier if, sometimes it's easier if you use a PowerPoint and upload images or, upload pictures that way. The alternative is, if you want it on a Word document, just change the orientation of the Word document so that it's in landscape, and that way you can fit it onto the slide very easily. VoiceThread will also let you zoom in, and so you can do that. But the media choices you make matter. We had an image, a created text, and a video in that PowerPoint. The image was big and active. You could see everything on it. The text that I created had text, but it also had an image with it. And so the text was easy to read, and the image influenced how you saw the text. Finally, the video, which we didn't watch, but which you can watch on your own, is very short. It's only about 6 minutes long, and it really focuses on the topic that I want students to think about. And so that lets students really stay focused. It doesn't go all over the place. It stays close to the topic. It also has great images and transitions in it. And while it's not the most Hollywood style video, it does get its point across very effectively. And so you want to make good media choices when you do your VoiceThread, whether you're doing it for journals like this or for any other purpose. You want to make great media choices. Images matter, videos matter, and the text that you create matters. Okay? But what matters even more than media choices is tasks, because it doesn't matter how many great images, how many great videos, how many great text creations you make. If you don't have students doing anything with them, then they don't have meaning. And so the learning happens when you ask students to do a task. We asked students in this VoiceThread, we asked them to do 4 tasks. In the first one, we asked them to evaluate. So the very first slide, it said, which do you think is the most important? And so we're asking students to think about those topics and then make a judgment call and be able to defend that evaluation. It's a really important 21st century skill. So evaluation was the first task. The second task, we had the same image, but we used it to connect personally. And so we asked students to pick one of the categories and then connect it to themselves. That personal connection tends to get a lot of buy-in from students, and it lets them kind of focus their ideas and their thoughts onto things that are personally meaningful. So you will have students that maybe they're not the best evaluators or analyzers, but they can definitely connect it to themselves. And so it gives them practice doing that task. But not just connecting it, giving examples of why it connects. And that's important too. Rigor is important. The third task that we had them read a quote and then analyze it. Okay, so analyze that quote and then apply it to meaning in their lives. So what does it make you feel when you think about that quote? What do you agree or disagree with? And so you give students tasks to analyze. The last one on the video, it asked students to break down what they thought were the key ideas that were most meaningful to them. Okay, this is a deconstruction activity, and it's a complex deconstruction activity. Some students might struggle to do this because it is multi-stepped, but we're asking them to find key ideas. Okay, we're asking them to connect them personally and to find the ways in which those key ideas have meaning for them. Okay, and so that's the deconstruction task. Tasks are very, very important when you're asking students to write, to think, to do anything. Okay, I wanted to list the sources one more time. If anybody's interested in finding those, they're right here. And last slide. And that is multimedia journals using VoiceThread. Like I said, you can make your journals for an entire school year, 180 days, which I don't recommend. That would be very confusing. Or you can make them into units where you have 30 days. You can make them into, you can have different units. You can sometimes do journals, writing journals that are personal journals. You can sometimes do content or thematic journals, so you can change the purpose of your journals. But it's really important that students write, and it's important that students write every day. And the act of writing in this world is not just putting a pencil on a piece of paper. The act of writing is crafting good words, and so whether they are typing in those words or speaking those words or watching themselves on video communicating those words, it's important that students write. And we need to broaden that definition of what it means to write. My name is Kelly Stair. I'm your presenter, writer, and teacher consultant. My website is angrybunnypublishing.com. And if you like this presentation, you'll love my ebook, VoiceThread for Digital Education, which is available at Smashwords as well as other ebook retailers. If you use Smashwords, you can use the coupon code ND26A for a 40% off discount, 40% discount through the end of October, so all the way through Connected Educator Month. You can feel free to share that coupon with other teachers, post it on your Facebook page, your Twitter account. It is available for anyone for 40% off of the ebook through Smashwords all the way through October. And then finally, if you don't have an e-reader of your own, Adobe Digital Editions is excellent and it's free. And you're welcome to download that to read my book. Thank you very much, and I will see you at the next webinar.